A little visitor to the garden. Welcome to Sun and Star Farm. I'm currently working in the garden and thought I would try to do some garden video while I'm out here. I don't normally record what I'm doing while I'm doing it. My little lizards. I've got them everywhere in my garden. I love it. It just shows that I'm doing the right thing and not killing these little guys off with poisons, since I do everything chemical free. So there's some others. This one's small. There's some others that are running around my garden that are absolutely massive. They're funny because they'll stop and stare at you while you're doing stuff. Anyway, I removed all of my flowering or my bolted mustard greens that were in here. I pulled the last Brussels sprout out and have the Brussels sprouts soaking in salt water for dinner tonight. And then pulled all the weeds out, cleaned it out, gave everything to the chickens and the ducks and the birds over there, and they are just absolutely in seventh heaven. Don't worry, little guy, I'm not coming for you. So, the only thing I have left in here are my 3 cabbages. They're starting to head up. I'm hoping I'll actually get cabbages that I'll be able to use before it gets too hot. But I have not had much luck with cabbage. I can get it to this point, but I don't think I'm planting it early enough for it to actually head up. Or our weather does something weird and it gets killed. So, the only other thing that I left in here is some desert chicory. It is a yellow version. I've got it throughout my garden in different spots. The flowers are edible. The root can be dried and turned into a coffee, but I do leave it in my garden. To most people, it's a weed. It's a native flowering plant here in Texas. I'm leaving it because I think they're pretty. It draws in beneficial insects like butterflies and honeybees. So I'm fine with it being here. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to affect what I'm planting in this garden. I'm going to be planting tomatoes here this year. Last year I did peppers. And the year before I did peppers. So I'm switching it up with some tomatoes, but I'm prepping my soil. The dirt that I have in here, I always top off every year with some type of organic soil or potting soil. And this year I'm doing something a little bit different. 1, I'm a little bit tighter on finances, and 2, I'm trying to figure out what will work best for my garden. I'm learning, and I watch so many different videos, and people have recommendations for different types of soils and dirts. So I'm trying a little something of my own just to see how it goes. I am going to be mixing 1 bag of topsoil. It's just plain Scott's Lawn and Garden soil conditioner. It's got peat moss and sphagnum and things. I don't like to use things with peat moss. I usually buy Beyond dirt, but I have noticed that it doesn't hold water very well. My plants die in it. I have not had any luck last year at all with any, and granted we had a drought, but I'd water and it was like the dirt was dry in 5 minutes. So I just didn't like the way it held water. So I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to use 1 bag of black cow manure mixed with 1 bag of the topsoil. I'm going to mix it up in my wheelbarrow, and then I'm just going to spread it across the top. This bed is pretty full because I use it every year, so I'm always adding. The original soil that was put in there was compost that I got from a garden center, and that first year it was a little shaky on growing, so I'm figuring things out. So I see a lot of people use the black cow and have had really good luck with their gardens. I'm just trying to find the right mix that will work here in South Texas so that I have a beautiful garden. Now, right now, we've had wonderful wet spring, and I cannot complain. My garden is looking beautiful, but most of the stuff in my garden isn't edible. I had to pull my greens because they bolted, because we went from 40 degrees to 90 degrees, and everything bolted. So I didn't really get to eat any of my greens. A lot of my lettuces are bitter, so I'm not going to be able to eat my lettuces. But you can see, I mean, it's beautiful. I got big old honking mushrooms, which are bad mushrooms. They will give you the runs if you eat them. So do not eat those type of mushrooms. My white dandelions are looking beautiful. I need to come and pick seed heads so I can start planting some of these seeds in the side yard. So I'll have white dandelions everywhere. I think they're gorgeous. I love them. My sweet peas are in bloom, which I'm excited about. I'm hoping to get peas before it gets too hot. Isn't that beautiful? And these ones over here, I'm not seeing any blooms on these guys yet. I do see some possible blooms starting, but they haven't started blooming. So I'm watching for them. And then, oh, isn't that pretty? Love that pretty purple. It's just beautiful. So I'll have some sweet peas here soon. Radishes are to the point where they're ready to be picked. So I'm going to come out and pick radishes tonight. I think I'm going to do some roasted radishes with some roasted Brussels sprouts for dinner. My corn is doing great. No complaints on the corn front. It is already almost waist high. Well, it's maybe 3 inches away from my waist, and I'm 5'8". So my corn is looking spectacular. No complaints there. Of course, you know, that one carrot has turned into a massive flower in the middle of the corn. I'm fine with that. The caterpillars will love that when I start getting some of my swallowtails, because they'll lay eggs on this, and I'll have babies everywhere. The wasps are actually enjoying the flowers as of recent. I've seen a lot of wasps in the garden this spring. But all the corn looks great. Raspberry is looking really good. It's looking healthy. I'm obviously having issues with red ants again. See? Isn't that just fantastic? Fire ants. Gotta love them. They move from bed to bed. I mess with them, they move. I mess with them, they move. I won't use chemicals on them. I just have to be careful not to step in them and get bit. The onions look good. The bed needs to be weeded. So I'm working on that. I do have a baby raspberry that has come up over here that I want to dig up and put in a pot and get it acclimated and rooted up really good, and then I'll plant it. And my green beans are also now in bloom. I'm going to go back through and replant some green beans, and Swiss chard. My rainbow Swiss chard is looking pretty good. Once again, I need to come in here and weed, and that is what I'm working on today. I'm going through and what the hell is that? Is that a worm? Oh, that's a big juicy worm. You stay right there. You're good for the garden. But I need to weed around my poor Swiss chard. It's getting it's definitely getting blocked out by all of the weeds. I've got so much. I'm just hoping that I'm able to pull this grass out without hurting my little seedlings here, without disturbing their roots too much. And then my zinnias look pretty good. I'm thinking I may have to dig out my marigolds that I planted over here. They're getting blocked by the green bean plants. So I don't know. I'll decide what to do. I think that they'll push through, but anyway, so this bed is in serious need of weeding. This bed is looking pretty nice. I do see some caterpillars in here that I need to take care of. It's a baby sunflower. I'm going to be pulling out flowering brassicas over here. Right now I've got a lot of wasps and honeybees that are on them, but I think I've got enough flowers in the garden to keep them occupied until more flowers come up and my flower garden over there starts producing. I'm going to clean out this bed completely, plant my cucumbers, once again pull out any of my flowering brassicas that like this arugula is gone butt crap crazy. That's one plant. That is one plant. Can you believe that? Anyway, I'm going to pull the arugula out, give that to the chickens. Watching my cabbage to see if it's going to do anything. Actually, this burgundy plant at the very end is a red Brussels sprout. So I'm going to see what that does. Oh, spider in the face. Yuck. Sorry, y'all. So I'm going to see what that does. The other two are cabbage. And then I got my onions. They're coming up. They don't look like they're bulbing, so I'll probably just use them for green onions. We'll see how those onions do over there, if they bulb up or not. I have lettuces here. I'm going to have to test to see if they're bitter. If they're bitter, then they'll get pulled out too. I'm going to plant tomatoes over here also, along with some peppers, I think. And then the lettuce bed, a lot of stuff is going to flower at this point. This frilly stuff here. What is that? Oh, it's just bark. This frilly stuff is very peppery, so I don't know what I would use that for. It was kind of a packet of microgreens that I put out here, and boy oh boy did I get a variety of things. I also mixed some lettuces, so I'm going to keep the lettuces and pick them and see if I can't get a couple salads out of them. But some of these mustards that are flowering, I'm going to pull and take them to the chickens also. The herbs are doing good. Now, these are beds that were filled with that potting soil, that Beyond Peat potting soil. And the plants really aren't growing. They're just kind of sitting there. And they've been sitting like this for at least 2 to 3 weeks without doing much. So I don't know if it's the dirt. I'm going to come out here with fertilizer and fertilize the crap out of it and see if that helps. But these herbs are not shooting up like some of my others are in different areas. The strawberries also in potting soil. I'm seeing some of them are doing better than others. So I'm going to bring out some fertilizer that is more appropriate for strawberries. And then that's comfrey, or no, I lied, that's white borage. That's right there. So that's supposed to bring beneficial insects, and it's supposed to be a good companion for strawberries. So we'll see. So we'll continue to watch these and see how they do. I got these from Gundry. I do have one that is producing flowers, which I'm excited about. I know most people say, oh, pick the flowers off, that way they can concentrate on growing their roots. I normally cannot keep strawberries alive for 2 years. I'm hoping this is a different variety. I'm hoping it will. So I'm not going to pull the flowers off. I'm going to eat whatever strawberries I get just in case I lose it. I don't want to, have spent whatever I spent on the plants and then not get a single strawberry because I pulled all the blooms off. So the root stock looked really good and it looked older. So I'm hoping that I can keep these guys alive, and next year that I'll have a really good strawberry harvest. I'm not holding my breath on it because, like I said, I have not had very much luck with strawberries, but I'm going to try. This needs to be weed eated over here. My wire ran so I can plant my berries. And then the elderberry is as tall as I am, or darn close to it. The baby's doing good. This is celosia. So I should have some beautiful celosia flowers soon. And then the Gaillardia is looking really nice. I got some interesting colors. I mean, isn't that not beautiful? I've never seen one that's solid red like that. It has a little bit of yellow tipping, but not very much. It's beautiful. I hope I get more of this color. And then, of course, I got ones that are a little bit more frilly. So, I don't know. And then I'm noticing that I've got some variegation going on. So, I don't know if when I planted this, I know I planted multiple seeds in a pack. If it was a mixed pack, I don't remember. I just remember it was Gaillardia. It's been out here all of last year, this past winter, and this is the first season it's flowering. And I'm impressed with the color. It's beautiful. I love it. And then my rose has gone bananas. The growth on it is just impressive. I mean, this is the old growth, but look at the size of the leaves on the new growth compared to the old growth. I mean, it's beautiful. And this cane, holy Christmas, it's as thick as my thumb. And that is fresh from this year. I mean, this is April 2nd, and that started this year. I mean, look how big it is. It's up to my chin, and I'm 5'8", so it's got to be a good 4 foot tall. Maybe it might be taller than 4 foot because of where it's at. It may actually be close to 5. I'm impressed. And then there's another cane next to it that's coming through. Big old flower heads on it. And then all of the branches, they're coming off. So I'm excited. I'm glad this is doing so well. And then the rose that I lost 2 years ago, the baby that's coming up, is doing great. It's about 1 foot tall now. So I'm excited about that. I know I probably won't get very many flowers on it this year or next, but I'm just excited that I got that rose. That rose came back. It's been dead for about 2 years now. And it had really beautiful creamy yellow blooms that turned to a soft pink as it aged. I mean, gorgeous. It's kind of like my Serenity rose that I have in my flower garden that I just planted, but that one is very bright and has a pop to it. It's real punchy, where this one was very light and soft, and it's beautiful. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that's what I get out of it. It may end up not being. I don't know if this rose was grafted. It probably was. So I may get something different, but I don't care. I love roses. I love all roses. Then I noticed my canna is starting to throw up some flower blooms. So I'm going to have flowers on that. And I believe that is milkweed, but don't quote me on it because I'm not quite sure. I have weeds that are popping up that I'm not sure if they're weeds or seeds that I planted. So I just leave them and see what they do. And so see all the little babies around the base of my elderberry, and then the baby it shot up over here. I'm just going to let the elderberry take over in the bed. That way I will have plenty of elderberries to make elderberry syrup, and I will have extra to give to the chickens. So this is what's going on so far in the garden. I am going to get to mixing this dirt together, and I'm just going to mix it in the wheelbarrow. I'm going to dump it into this bed and work it into the soil, and then I'm going to plant tomatoes because I got lots of tomatoes that need to be planted. I've got some select ones that I want to plant in my garden, and then all of the rest are going to be going over into the flower garden and just being planted haphazardly and randomly. So that way I have tomatoes over there, and it takes up space until I can get more flowers planted and really get the, might as well utilize it. Whatever we don't eat, I can feed to the animals. So it's another food source for my kids. So All right, I'm hopping off of here. I will probably record after I'm done and have it planted so that way I can show you, and I'll just add it to the end of this video. So if I don't sign off at the end, I'm going to do it right now in case I forget. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It's garden season, so I'm going to do more videos of the garden. I'm going to try to do them at least once a week. Maybe on Sundays, because it is my day off and that's when I have the time to work in my garden. So wish me luck. Thanks so much. Have a great day.